Matteo, fantastic to be here in your demo facility at Alpharetta in Georgia. How often do you come here?
Let's say I will try to come once every quarter. Let's say before with the pandemic it was difficult to travel, but since this year with everything has been released, I came. Let's say I try to come here at least once every quarter.
The reason why I'm asking is because before the camera was turned on, we spoke a little bit about that BOBST is relatively new to labels, right? And behind us we see some technology. We're not going to talk so much about technology, but this is like a really good example of R&D, a lot of spending, a lot of research in the market. If you look at the journey of getting from where you started at BOBST to now be also a very serious player in the label segment, how has that been for you?
I'm really excited for the moment where we are today. I mean, when I joined BOBST through the acquisition they made of the company I was working on, that was the reason why I joined. Let's say I was really happy to be part of the BOBST group because I knew that there was a long-term vision to, let's say, enter into the digital and be part of the digitalization of this industry. And all the steps that has been done in the next year with the movement foundation, with then the merge of the two business together, has created, let's say, as piece of the puzzle, let's say the right, way to then have a full picture, and is really an exciting moment for us now.
How important is competition for you?
Competition is important because, of course, it's what stimulates us to grow and to be fast. At the end, probably to be fast is our #1 challenge. We are, as you said, not the first that has entered into digital. We are not the first, neither as a company that has entered into label. But we have all let's say, the knowledge and the means to let's say, be the best in terms of technology, and our challenge is really, to be fast enough to let's say, go where we want to go.
And with that said, if you look at digital, was that also kind of, this is the entrance point? I mean, because if it has been 20 years ago or 30 years ago, then you would have, then it had to be analog, but was it also digital part of why BOBST entered into this segment?
Yeah, let's say that was the hand strategy. I mean, the idea was to enter with analog because at that point was easier also, and let's say, to buy a company there, to start to understand the business, to have some customer reference, and to grow the knowledge inside the group, to then be able to to develop. At the end, BOBST is not there to be say a small player. BOBST is #1 or #2 in every industry where it is. And we are doing, let's say, as fast as possible, all the steps to get to the place also in label. And I don't believe that we are too far from that. At least in terms of technology, I think we are now in a really, really good position.
And as we spoke about, it's like one of the things I really like about BOBST is that, I mean, it's a more than 100 years old company, 130 years company.
130 years, yeah.
So if you look at a company like this, it's like more than 6,000 people, almost 7,000 people working there. It's a company where, I mean, it is a big ship to turn. And is that, if you look at your role as a president of the group, how important are people on that journey?
Yeah, people is everything. At the end, we are discussing it before. You can change products, but you need to transform people if you want to, let's say, create and move toward the future. Yes, BOBST is a 130 years old company, sure, and is creating with all what it's doing and with the vision that our CEO Jean-Pascal has. Let's say, creating the necessary precondition to stay there for either another 130 years or more.
Minimum, right?
Minimum or more.
Yeah. And as we also spoke before, I mean, of course, we refer to something that is not on camera, but I mean, I asked you before because is it just ended, or half a year ago, something like that Jean-Pascal Bob's company decided to off-list BOBST as a public company. That also means that his dedication now, spending his own money on the company, must both be exciting, but it must also feel a little tickling somewhere, right?
I mean, for us, I guess for everybody, it's a sign that the families that let's say own BOBST has the intention to even further invest in BOBST. So for everybody of us, it was a really powerful message that coming not only from the CEO, Jean-Pascal, that is the fourth generation of BOBST, but coming also from the next generation, the fifth generation, that decided altogether that that's where they want to invest their money. So this was really a strong message for all of us.
I also believe that when the message came out, I mean, it's like the decision and the time from an idea to execution is way faster than if you have to talk to a lot of shareholders, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't know everything about that, not much more than what has been
I was just curious about, because I mean, basically, we spoke about a little bit that you need to have, in today's business world, you need to be agile. You need to have fast turnaround time. And as we spoke about, you need to make money on the decisions you make, right? So
yeah, in that sense, let's say for sure that the listing is adding agility to the company, because of course all the stock exchange rules and so on and so forth somehow move your attention sometime to the stock value of your company and not much on what you have to do to go to and to advance against competition. So in that sense, as we all know, focus is one of the most important things for companies. When you are defocused by everything, if you can remove one of the reasons why you are defocused, you are one step forward to where you have to go. So
100%. Yeah. And talking about focus, you have a computer engineering background.
Yeah.
We spoke about it a little bit, because even the machine that is behind you, there's pieces of the software you actually developed, really, right? It's very uncommon that a president's fingerprint is on a machine, right?
Yeah, it's, I always loved to, since I was probably 8 or 9, to write software. So that has always been one of my passions. Now I stopped probably 13 years ago to do that when I started to enter a management position. Sometimes I enter into the company.
Just to relax, right?
I see the guys writing the code at the back of the machine, and I think to myself, especially if it is a bad day, I will actually prefer that I have to go and load the software on machines than going to do what. Joking apart, yeah.
But when you are a programmer, you need to be very organized. And when you spoke about the focus, does the background you have as a programmer also help you being focused on the things that you have to do in order to get the success you demand for yourself?
It can be. As I was telling you, in general, I tend to be a quite logical person. So I do follow logic. So yes, and software is about logic always. So let's say this is it's the first time I heard someone making me this let's say comment. But yeah, I see what you say. It could be. 100%.
Under all circumstances, you're now the president of a very important company, right?
I am, not the president. Let's say, I'm heading this division, let's say, of the company. Yes.
Okay, sorry. So basically, when you look at how you got there, one thing is that you were part of the company being acquired.
Yes.
But secondly, which is also of my interest, is that who are you as a person? I mean, a family man, or how are you as a private Matteo?
I'm let's say a family person, of course. I have a father of 2 kids. I have a wife, which I really love. It's my second wife. And I'm really a curious person. I'm really, really curious. I think is one
So
of...
curiosity also a driver?
Yeah, curiosity is one of my, I guess, of the driver.
So when you talk about curiosity, what drives you? Is it music? Is it sport? Is it art?
Is in general about techniques first. I've always been passionate.
You're the one that ripped off the radios when you were a kid to see how it works.
I was also doing that, to confess. I'm curious about history a lot. And I'm curious about food. That's one of also my curiosity. And that's one of my passion is also cooking with my wife. It's one of the things I really love the most. My wife and also with my kids. I mean.
And as people can hear, you have an accent. You're from Firenze, right?
Yeah. I'm actually originally from Lucca, really close to Firenze. Now living in Firenze, close to the company since years.
And in Firenze, you have good wine, you have a lot of opera, you have good cultures and everything like that. Is that, I think that sometimes when I meet Italians, what I like about it is that you have really captured the essence of life.
Thank you. I mean, we are surrounded by beauty.
Yeah.
I walk, when I walk in Firenze, it happens really often with my wife that we see something, we say, oh, look at that, we've never seen that. And it's maybe a nice statue, just on a small building. You're really surrounded by beauty, and by good food as well. So we are kind of spoiled by that. And wherever we go, we try to, of course, look for excellence in food and in other aspects, because we are surrounded and we live, let's say, around excellence in arts and food.
The reason I'm asking is because, I think that Italians are known for art and beauty, right? And Swiss are made for their accuracy and all the fantastic things that you do from an engineering perspective. Do you think that you are one of the people that can bridge those cultures?
Let's say I would love to. I have to say, and I don't want to pretend to be, but I have to say that for sure, these now 7-8 years, I'm working with Swiss people, and let's say I'm dividing myself between Lausanne and Firenze. For sure, I get more and more influence about the quality, to be on time, for instance. That is not an Italian prerogative, and to focus also in the last 10%, because most of the time Italian, especially they are focused on do the things innovative and so on, but not complete the last 10%. And this is what we get a lot from
the Swiss mindset,
yeah. Which I believe is really valid and unique.
Because that is what you see. Basically, if you see Swiss clockwork, if you see Swiss engineering, if you see the pharmaceutical industry also, and I think also if you look at the big Nestlé, isn't that from a Swiss company as well? So if you look at some of the customers as well for using the technology, it's also Swiss. So I think that kind of thing is probably very important. Matteo, I was just thinking, because we have a time limit, unfortunately, but I was just thinking that if you look at the time that you have had with BOBST so far, and if you look at the technology and the markets that you're approaching, where do you see the future?
For sure, let's say there is now a second wave of digitalization. There has been in the last recent year, let's say, a transition of technology between, let's say, what was the first technology, electrophotography, now more toward inkjet. I do believe that there is going to be a new in the new digitalization wave with inkjet is going to involve much more, not only label, but also flexible packaging and folding carton. So if I will say what is going to, let's say, be something that will, let's say, probably happen more in the next 10 years, is going to be, it's the penetration of this technology also in this other industry. Sure.
And I was just thinking that the last topic here was basically because one of the things that I think that BOBST has put really high on your own agenda, but also as a responsibility to the society, is of course the sustainability agenda. Yes. Because with digital, I mean, nobody is believing that there will not be a need for packaging and for everything, but there is. Can you use thinner plastic or less plastic? Can you use more paper-based material, things like that? Can you print only what you need by using digital compared to analog and things like that? How big a role does that play for you on on more like a personal level? Because I understand where BOBST sees it. Is it something that you have any passion for yourself as well?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we are more and more, let's say, everybody of us, let's say, trying to be more conscious of all what we do, and let's say toward utilizing less resources, and let's say, in that sense, also there will be, and there is already a lot happening in the industry regarding that. It's difficult to say where it's gonna go there, but for sure we are part of this, let's say, transformation as well. And we, with our, let's say, design of machine, we have always tried to go toward the less waste, the less energy as a driver for our design of the machine. If you look also the footprint of our machine is normally tend to be more, let's say, reduced compared, let's say, to what it was compared to also our competition, yes.
So you will be a winner on technology, you will be a winner on sustainability. What about the finance? Will you also make a lot of money?
That's, let's say, there is only one answer to that. I mean, of course, we all know that is a journey, digitalization, there is investment and there is a return. We are working for the return of this investment. There is another point, is also that needs to be really taken, is the connectivity of the machine. That because if we look at also, let's say, at the sustainability and also the saving that our machine can have, this can happen and will happen a lot through the connectivity of this machine.
And that is, of course, the IoT things. It's like the plant maintenance and basically reduced energy, right? Because of the
management of the information. Because I make an example. Let's say normally every machine, let's say, is part of a value chain. And there is a machine after that does another transformation, right, of a product. You create a jumbo reel, and then from the jumbo reel you create the small reel that then you deliver to your customer. If you can transfer information from the machine A that does one step to the machine B in order that he knows already where, let's say, what he has to do. Let's say, what is the job, how many are the labels, which are the labels that are not okay. Let's say all of these steps can really contribute a lot also in sustainability. So there is really going to be, let's say, a need for that. And it's going to play a role, the connectivity toward the sustainability, we do believe.
Fantastic. Thank you, sir. Great to talk to you.
Thanks to you.